Wow, here we go again. Greenland's prime minister just said something that should stop every American cold. But before we dive in, please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. It goes a long way toward helping revive our republic. Now, introducing the Prime Minister of Greenland. He said in a speech, Greenland does not want to be owned by the United States. Greenland does not want to be governed by the United States. Greenland will not be part of the United States. If we have to choose between the US and Denmark, we choose Denmark. We choose NATO. We choose the Kingdom of Denmark. We choose Europe. Let that sink in. At the exact moment the Arctic is opening up, at the exact moment global competition is intensifying, the United States is alienating the most capable Arctic allies on the planet. And for Americans trapped in their information bubbles who think Nordic countries are soft socialist states, here's a reality check. These are the nations that produced the Vikings. Orderly does not mean weak, and restraint does not mean defenseless. Denmark has a standing military order issued in 1952 that applies directly to Greenland. It instructs Danish forces to fight immediately if Danish territory or forces are attacked. No waiting, no ambiguity, no waiting from orders from Copenhagen. That order exists because of a Nazi invasion in 1940 when hesitancy cost sovereignty. And Norway has the almost identical doctrine. Since 49, Norwegian commanders are required to resist instantly. And now, just this past week, in a direct response to our foreign policy A-team, Denmark made something very clear. Denmark's Ministry of Defense confirmed that 1952 order remains in force and is unambiguous. Translation, they're not going to hesitate to shoot. And here's where this stops being theoretical. As Washington talks about acquisition and conquest, like it's some video game, European troops are now arriving in Greenland. Small contingents from France, Germany, the United Kingdom, Netherlands, Finland, Norway, and Sweden are rotating in. Europe is closing its ranks on one of its most reliable allies. Emmanuel Macron announced that France will send additional land, air, and sea assets. Denmark's defense minister said the goal is more permanent NATO presence with rotating allied forces. This is Europe saying, we will defend Greenland. How did the White House respond? The press secretary said European troops would not impact the president's goal of acquiring Greenland at all. Well, I tell you, while allies are reinforcing their unity, Washington is signaling it doesn't care. We used to station 10,000 American troops in Greenland during the Cold War. We have a fraction of that now, but we could have had more under the old agreements. Do you believe for 1 second that Denmark and Greenland are going to allow one more American soldier on their soil after all of this BS stupid rhetoric? So let's be clear, these countries aren't going to play. And for those who say if we don't take Greenland, Russia will, can somebody look at a map or show the administration the Arctic map? Russia has roughly 23,000 miles of Arctic coastline, almost half the planet, access to the Arctic. Do you really think they're going to risk World War III to seize territory that gives them less access than they already have? You know who actually has more Arctic coastline than Russia? Canada. With all its islands, they have almost 100,000 miles. Well, Mr. President, how's that relationship going? But that's another video. Here's the part no one's yelling about strength wants to admit. Norway, Denmark, and Greenland already locked Russia into its corner, into Arctic, through alliances, through access agreements, and through credibility. And here's the dangerous irony. As Europe scrambles to manage the Greenland crisis, Washington is now even more destabilizing Ukrainian policy by publicly blaming Zelensky instead of Putin. while Russia continues missile strikes on Ukrainian cities and gains more ground. European leaders are now trying to respond to multiple American-created crises at once. One scholar in London described Europe as being in a constant state of frantic damage control, trying to push back without openly antagonizing the U.S., while making clear there are real costs to this path. And I suspect those costs are the ones we'll have to be paying. That's what losing trust and faith and friendship toward our nation looks like in real time. Losing that good faith that bound us together since the early 1950s, and Russia and China are the least of our worries, because of all the territory in the world will not save us from ourselves.